Open your eyes.
If you are wondering why everything going on in the world feels so terribly off, then you have come to the right place. A veil has been put over the eyes of humanity. Evil people in high places have been hiding the truth in plain sight and building a false reality on lies and deception for far too long. And now, their time is coming to an end. It's time to fight back, to wake up, and to begin an uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
This is a time for judgment. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to cover this story about HAARP because this is the type of stuff that should be covered by the mainstream media instead of constantly using that platform to make fake news and racially divide the people and divide them in every way they possibly can. These are stories people should know about because while people are concerned about weather and thinking it's climate change and people are concerned about and seeing this spike in mental health problems, these are the places that you look to realize why these things are occurring. Not just 5G towers, but also HAARP. And guess what HAARP's up to? They're beginning their largest set of experiments at its new observatory this week. So be aware, if any bizarre activity occurs, as far as weather manipulation, you could look no further than here, because that's really the purpose of HAARP, as well as, of course, messing with radio frequencies in the air, which is something that should be 100% illegal. But because they tell everyone, and nobody can see it, and they tell everyone that it's not really real, and it's not a big deal, and who would be manipulating that? Who would be using silent weapons and weaponizing frequencies? Oh, the government would be. And that's why you see a spike in mental health. It isn't just from the potion. It isn't just from 5G. It's also from things like HAARP. But obviously, the 5G frequencies are really what's messing with people right now, and that's why they are normalizing mental health problems as if it's something that's, oh, don't worry about it, it's normal. Everybody's having these problems, anxiety, depression, massive amounts of people taking their own lives. Well, it's because they're messing with you on a level that you can't see. So let's take a look at what this article, and of course, this is something that's completely buried, but you can find it on the University of Alaska Fairbanks website because HAARP is associated with them now. The HAARP research campaign has been scheduled October 19th through 28th. Times, frequencies, and modes are variable due to the constantly changing nature of the ionosphere. And then, of course, they market this with nonsense about the moon and bouncing frequencies off of space. I mean, it's all just stuff that people hear and they're like, well, that's above my pay grade. I don't really understand what they're scientifically saying. Well, they're messing with frequencies, things that would mess with your brain. And they're messing with things like the weather, things they can control through manipulating the air, through creating geoengineering and cloud seeding. But this is the article. HAARP to begin its largest set of experiments this week at its new observatory, bouncing a signal off the moon, learning more about a mysterious polar light, sending a beam to Jupiter. All bullcrap, of course. Those are just some of the 13 experiments for a packed 10 days of science beginning Wednesday, October the 19th, at the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. That's HAARP, that's what it's long for. The University of Alaska Fairbanks operates a facility located near Jacona. Now, of course, HAARP is affiliated, instead of having everyone knew that they were affiliated with the government. Now they're trying to pretend like they're affiliated with a university. So, it's all good and dandy because it's a school, it's a university, so they can perform experiments and stuff like that because that's what school's for, right? It's like Bill Nye the Science Guy, science experiments, Dr. Wizard, science experiments. But when obviously when the government's linked to it, people are more suspicious. So now they want to pretend like, oh yeah, HAARP's not affiliated with the government anymore. Wink, wink. It's affiliated with a university. They say the number of experiments is the highest so far under a 5-year, $9.3 million grant awarded last year by the National Science Foundation to establish the Subaurora Geophysical Observatory at HAARP. $9.3 million. The things that they could do with that kind of money, instead they want to run experiments like this. And even if people are, because the majority of people are stupid and they hear this, oh yeah, let's spend $9.3 million to bounce frequencies off of Jupiter. And people are like, oh, that's a good idea. And you go, why would that be a good idea? They're like, well, what? And then they just continue about their day because they're stupid and they don't realize they wouldn't even know if there was, if you were able to go to the moon and do all these things, what benefit it would be for society and humanity. There would be no benefit. But they still tell you that, and people are like, oh, it's a good idea. But if they told people that they were really messing with the weather and messing with people and causing these massive things in the atmosphere that you can't see with your own eyes, then people will go, oh, we should arrest these people. They should be in jail. It's the same thing as mass genocide. Oh, but they don't. So the October research campaign, they said, is the largest and most diverse to date. So think about it. In all the years of HAARP, they're claiming that this is the largest one that they've done. Now, could that be true? Of course, we could take it with a grain of salt because these people are natural born liars. So anything they tell us, we can't naturally believe. Like, they've been running experiments for years. And obviously, when they tell us that HAARP is off, we know that HAARP is really on. So we'll take it with a grain of salt. But it's something that people should know, because if they're openly telling you that they're running it and then we see some bizarre stuff going on storm-wise in Alaska or wherever, then you could start looking at HAARP a little bit. They say the 10 days of operation includes researchers and others from UAF and NASA. Of course, NASA would be involved, as well as some other universities out there, Johns Hopkins, University of California, Berkeley. Among the experiments is the moon bounce, a joint operation of the JPL, Owens Valley Radio Observatory in California, and the University of Mexico. The purpose of the test is to test the coordination of the three facilities for the eventual study of near-Earth asteroids, especially those that can be a hazard to Earth. Knowing an asteroid's composition can influence the type of defense to be used. So these are the things that they cloak what they're doing around. So people don't really even know what that means. They're like, oh, wow, like the movie Armageddon, they could do something to stop an asteroid from hitting the Earth? Okay, then they should be doing that. People don't even question if asteroids actually occur, if they're real. We all saw the thing with NASA and the asteroid, last month what occurred. I mean, it's a comedy show. It's a comedy show. They say the experiment consists of transmitting a signal from HAARP to the moon and receiving the reflected signal at the California and New Mexico site. So they're pretty much going to cloud seed. Then they're going to tell you that they're really just sending a signal up and sending it up to the moon. But we know they're sending it up and it's probably bouncing, It could be bouncing off something. And on top of that, coming right back down to the Earth, because, they only do these experiments to harm humanity, not to benefit humanity. They tell you it's for things that you don't even know if they really exist or not, but you've seen it in a movie like an asteroid, so you go, oh yeah, it's for the benefit of humanity. That's why they're doing it, Mr. Time for Judgment. That's what they're doing it for. They would never try to harm any of us. They only constantly on the news try to divide us, try to get us to hate each other, try to get us to kill each other, tell us in the movies, glorify killing, glorify serial killers, you name it. They tax you out the rear end. They tax you on a stick of gum. They constantly are manipulating and controlling our lives. But they would never want to harm us. And they would never want to do it in a way where they can get away with it, which would be by silent warfare, which would be invisible warfare, like manipulating weather or using frequencies to cause anxiety, depression, manic episodes, you name it. And that's exactly what they're doing, and they're getting away with it and just going, oh, don't worry about it. You have a family member who's got anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, manic, bipolar, all this stuff going on. Don't worry about it. It's normal. Everybody's got it going on, and nobody goes, well, why does everybody have it going on? Right? Nobody asks that question. I've covered this a million times with TV shows like The Good Doctor, how they normalize autistic kids and kids with Asperger's and those things. Why do they do it? They do it not because these kids, to make these kids, look a certain way. They do it because they want people to think that it's normal to be born that way. And in reality, it's not normal. And why is it not normal? Because it wouldn't be occurring if they weren't doing this through magic potions and through other means of their operations that they do on human experiments on people. So people should be questioning these things, like, why is my son born this way? Why is my daughter born this way? Why does my family member have this mental illness? Instead, they go, no, it's normal. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Everybody's got it going on. So why would you even think that we were doing something? Then they run experiments like this, and then the casual moron looks at it, and they're like, you don't know anything about engineering. You don't know anything about NASA. You don't know anything about what they're... Oh, no, we all know. It's all bullcrap. This is a giant human experiment that's going on, science experiment, especially in America. On the civilians. It's a mind control op, day in and day out. So the Jupiter experiment, which is run by Johns Hopkins, aims to prove a method of observing planetary ionospheres by using Earth-based radio transmitters. So people hear that, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just like, yeah, go ahead and run your experiment. Scientists have little information about the ionosphere of planets other than Earth, but believe them to be rich with information. On Earth, the ionosphere is a place within the upper atmosphere extending to the interface with space that is filled with particles that become electrically charged from interaction with the sun's energy. So this is just, it's bullcrap. That's what it is. It's bullcrap. They're turning up frequencies as we have 5G in place, as we have people who are potioned and magnified, I should say, excuse me. And now they're using things like HARP and they're using things like CERN, and they're still experimenting with people, and people still don't realize why there's so many problems, why the weather manipulation is out of control, and they just believe, well, it's global warming. Well, it's because of social media. People are becoming more and more depressed, and they're having more and more anxiety. No, it's because they're doing things like this with HARP, and they're running these types of experiments, and these should be crimes against humanity. Who approved these types of things? Who's giving them our tax money to fund this garbage? We're paying for them to fund these experiments on us. That's what's going on. And all these people behind it, they hide behind, titles, doctors, scientists, okay? They're criminals. That's what they are. They're experimenting on humans, things that are not necessary and would never be necessary. But they tell you that this is necessary, and we just go, oh yes, let's bounce things off the air. And hopefully a fart flies all the way up to Jupiter, and we can see how the ionosphere is, We have food shortages here on Earth. We have people here on Earth who are homeless, who are sick. We have diseases, actual diseases, not ones that are made up and then put inside of a magic potion for people to get. We have so many things going on, but these are things that we need, right? And then the people who think that they're smart, who are just indoctrinated, regurgitating stuff they hear at school, they're like, these people are crazy tinfoil outwearers. You don't know anything about anything. All you do is regurgitate what they tell you. That doesn't make you smart. It makes you a puppet, a zombie, a fool. And that's what most people are in this world. So HARP is up with new experiments. None of us should be suspicious about it. We should all just realize in the next 10 or 12 days, if anything occurs, and look, that doesn't mean something's going to occur with the weather, because they don't need to even turn HARP on or tell us that HARP's on to do any type of experiments with weather manipulation or weather control or cloud seeding, okay? And they don't, they're not going to come out and report like massive amounts of mental health problems or suicides or anything like that with this turned on. They're never going to report something like that. They don't report on those types of stories. So, we'll see what comes back from Jupiter, I guess. We'll just wait for the news. Let us know when you turned CERN on and you pointed at all our faces and melt us. Thanks. Appreciate it. Reminder, check out the website at timeforjudgment.com. I hope to see everybody over there. Thank you guys for being here on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.